Hi, I'm Steve from 2Cat Media and welcome to another video. In fact, welcome to the channel in general. Welcome, my friends. Now, for those of you that do celebrate Christmas, and even those of you that celebrate your own different festivities and religions, I hope you've all had a great time over the last week or two, celebrating whatever it is that you celebrate, be it Christmas or not, and you be able to spend some time with family and friends as well, which is most important, especially in these trying times that is the old COVID-19, or the old Rona, as they tend to call it around my way. And hopefully as well that you've had some nice tech gifts. I've had some lovely comments, so I thank you all for that, updating me about what you've had for Christmas, and that's absolutely fantastic. So if you've had any kind of some weird gifts, actually, some weird kind of tech gifts that you wasn't expecting, like of a funny nature maybe, then put them in the comments below and share them with all of us in the 2Cat community. And also, though, those of you that have had a new Holystone 720E or any other drone for that matter, then please share it with us. Now, today's video is going to be looking at the Holystone's app, the OPHELIA Go app. Now, my drone isn't connected today to this. It's more of a talking head video with a screen recording. Now, for one reason, it is snowing outside, as you can see. Yeah, to show you that. Now, in the app, it's been updated recently, in the last couple of weeks or so, I think. Now, I've recently had a new replacement of the Holystone 720E drone from Holystone, which I haven't had a chance to, I've calibrated it and such, but I haven't had a chance to fly it yet. Now, with the new app, there's been a few problems and a few little issues with it that people have commented to me about. Now, one of the issues is the app closing on certain models of phones, or whatever the reason is, I'm not 100% sure. Now, I myself have a Huawei P30 Pro. I think that's how you say it, Huawei or Huawei, I don't know. But either way, the P30 Pro, and the last app was fine, and then this app now, it does tend to just, after a few seconds, tends to go back to either the intro screen or even sometimes back to the phone's home screen. So that's not great at all. So I'm going to be looking at that briefly. We're going to look at the app, the bits that we can without connecting to the drone. But the main reason for this video is the fact of the beginner's guide in the settings on the app. Now, with this, there's a new slider button, which I'll show you in a moment. When we look at the app, that you slide across and you get a beginner's guide, and you slide it off and you've got your 4 individual settings. So that's the main purpose of this video, because it is a bit confusing for some people, especially new people, to either that app or to drones in general. So I have reached out to Holystone to get their opinion, and there's a reason for this, so I hope you can stay tuned for that. So without further ado, let's get into the app and you'll see exactly what I mean. Okay, so here we are. Here we have the intro screen. Now, hopefully, I'm hoping that it won't cut out and come back to the intro screen once I delve deeper into the app. So first of all, yeah, a nice new look, a nice clean look here. We have the gallery on the bottom left there, where you can access your photos and videos in 720p. And if you press the SD slot there, icon at the top, then you can access your 1080p and 4K videos. Okay. Next, underneath, we have the help there, where you can have their contact emails there for different countries, their contact number, and the app version. Okay, and then the guidance icon there, where you can have a tutorial for the 720 or the 720E, where it sends you to a link on YouTube. There we can access the flight records to check your total flight time, your mileage, and the number of flights, along with your highest elevation and maximum speed, as well as a new feature called Find My Drone, which obviously I can't connect to at the moment, and then also obviously then all your flight records as well. So we can have a look at those, especially Find My Drone, and test that out in a later video. Okay, so let's go back and enter device. Okay, now in the top left-hand corner, the little house there takes you back to the intro screen. Then we have the 4 little blocks on the left here. That takes you to the intelligent flight systems there, like follow me, orbit flight, and headless mode, which again, we'll do those in a later video. Then we have the return to home underneath that with the little bendy arrow pointing into the H with a circle. Underneath that, we have the takeoff icon with the H with the upward arrow, and when you're flying and you want to land, that will turn into an arrow pointing straight down into the H with the circle, and that will be your landing. In the bottom left there as well, you have your map icon there where you can do your tap to fly. Then we have the D and the H there for the distance, either that will be either in meters or feet, depending on what you've selected in the settings, and the height next to it as well. There used to be in the previous version, a meters per second or a speed indicator, but that's now been taken away. Following on from that, on the bottom right, we have the magnification. If you pinch on the screen in and out, you can actually go up to 50 times zoom. Obviously, that's not the camera, that will be an app magnification. But again, we'll try that out in later videos. We have the usual icons across the top, like the satellites, the battery for the transmitter and the drone, and the signal strengths there as well for the drone to the transmitter. Then we have the little eye that if you press the eye and close it, it takes them all off the screen so you can concentrate as well. And then we have the play button above the white circle. That does exactly the same and takes you to the same kind of screen so you can see your media. The white circle there takes you to, well, not takes you anywhere actually, just takes a photo, okay? And the red circle there is to record your footage. The symbol below it with the 3 lines and the 3 circles, which I can't access because I don't have the drone connected, but that then should be very similar. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but that should be just your settings for your video camera, okay? Okay, so in the top right-hand corner, we have the cog, and here we will see that we have 3 tabs: safety, sensor status, and camera. Now for the camera, a lot of these should be self-explanatory, but you can select your resolution here for your pictures, such as 4K or 1080p. The size of it, whether it's 16:9 or it might change to 1:1, depending on what you have. The SD card, file type, and to format your card as well. Then in the middle, we have the sensor status. So basically you can do your 2 calibrations from here. I suggest that you do both the gyro and the geomagnetism calibration, at least before the first flight of every day before you fly it, okay? And then the safety section here, you can choose between meters and feet. Okay, well, I normally use meters. And then we have this beginner's tab here that you can turn on and off. When it's on, the 4 settings below, which are orbital semi-diameter, the maximum flight distance, the maximum flight altitude, and the return to home altitude. Now these get grayed out, okay? Now, after getting contact with Holy Stone, because again, like I said, you guys have reached out to me asking me some questions about this. So I've asked them, look, you know, what is the deal with beginner's mode? Tell me exactly what it does, because it's not 100% clear on the app. So they basically replied back to me very quickly, in fairness, so thank you, Holy Stone. And they said, with the beginner tab turned on, these get grayed out, as you can see, the diameter and the maximum flight. But the minimum values, so the 15 meters, the 15 meters, and the 15 meters, as well as the 5 meters for the orbital diameter, those would be the basic values. So according to them, when you fly your drone in beginner's mode, you should not be able to fly any more than 15 meters outwards or upwards, okay? And your return to home would be 15 meters as well. And that's great for new people, especially new to flying drones, or for younger people flying drones who maybe haven't got that experience or that confidence. And flying further away might cause you a bit of anxiety, which it did for me on my first flight, in fairness. So that's great. I don't think you particularly need it, but if it's intuitive and it's easy to do, then great. The problem here that I'm having is when you turn it off, so maybe after a day or 2 of flying in beginner's mode, you want to take off those stabilizers, okay? And increase the settings, and that's fine. So the orbital semi-diameter, okay, so that's basically when your drone is in a set point, and then you do the orbital diameter there, the orbit around an object or something. It will stay in one place, go back 5 meters and circle in that diameter. So you can choose between 5 meters all the way up to 50 meters, okay? and the default is 5 for the beginners. Now normally I'll just leave that on default, okay? Now the maximum flight distance on this goes between 15 meters and 200 meters, okay? I'll put these up to the maximum for now. And then the maximum flight altitude is between 15 meters and 120 meters, which is the legal limit in most countries anyway, okay? Now the return to home altitude is between 15 meters and 50 meters. If I just go into feet, you'll see there the equivalent measurements in feet, okay? Now the problem with this is, first of all, the return to home altitude, even though 50 meters is what I usually used to use as a default setting, that's the maximum now. I'm sure before you could go up to 100 or even 120, but correct me if I'm wrong down below in the comments. So everything else is fine. Now, in the previous version of this app, you was able to toggle on and off each of these individual settings. So the only one, for argument's sake for me, the only one I would put on would be return to home altitude, where I would set it about 50 meters depending on where I was and the height of the nearest trees or pylons, etc. So I was clear and safe should it return to home. So that was great, but with this you have to have all 4 settings on. So you're limited now, okay? So the orbital diameter makes no real difference really. So that could go down to 5 meters, that's fine. But the maximum flight altitude is 120, that's fine. Unless you want it less, that's fine. The return to home altitude, for me, 50 meters is always kind of the default, so that doesn't affect me too much. But the biggest problem here is the maximum flight distance. Now, it goes from 50 meters all the way up to 200 meters. And that's not particularly far. So I've reached out and I've said, listen, I haven't had a chance to use this yet, but people are telling me they can't fly very far. Holy Stone themselves have turned to me and said, the maximum distance for the flight of 200 meters is for your live feed. So according to them, and I haven't had any chance to verify this or try this out because of the weather, is that once you get to 200 meters, the live video feed should cut out. And then if you continue to push forward, or at least push forward again on the controller, on the transmitter, that in theory, it should carry on going. And I get that. But 200 meters to me is very, very poor. You know, on the old app, I was able to go 400 to 500 plus meters if I was lucky, depending on any interferences, and see what I was doing. And that suited me perfectly. And then if I wanted to go further than that, then I would fly blindly and then just return to home where needed. But 200 meters is quite a difference, I think, considering on the original settings for the advertisements, it was saying that the maximum distance was 900 meters and the maximum FPV was like 400 or 500 meters. And I read that somewhere on one of their listings. So 200 meters for me is not good enough. I have let them know this. I have emailed and expressed my concerns that they are kind of limiting people's enjoyment. Now, again, as I said, I haven't had a chance to try this out. So if you're able to try this out and you have already done it and you can go past 200 meters with live feed, let me know. If you can still go past 200 meters and fly blind, let me know. But also as well, and I'm quite curious about this, is when you put it on beginner's mode, if you can fly past in the normal mode up to 200 meters or whatever it might be, your limit, and then continue flying, if you can do that, can you do that on beginner's mode? That's my question. So if you're completely new and you get to 50 meters outwards or upwards, and then you press forward on the stick again, will it go past that limit? So that's another thing that needs to be tested. So I'm going to be testing all these in an up and coming videos. But if you've already tested them yourselves, please feel free to comment in the sections below. So that's all I'm going to have time for today. So I hope this video has given you some kind of information as regards this new app update, which I'm not overly impressed with the way it is at the moment. It is quite limiting for a lot of people, especially with it crashing and going back to the phone's home screen or to the intro screen itself. So they definitely need to book their ideas up and sort this out with a massive update for this app. And maybe they are in the process of doing that, but I am awaiting further contact with them. And as I do get that contact, I will let you guys know. So on a happier note, I do hope that you all have a great New Year's Eve on December the 31st, going into 2021. This year has been a bit of a bummer in a sense, you know, it has been a bit crazy with all the different restrictions, etc. But hopefully 2021, we can start to move forward in general. So listen, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a massive thumbs up. Please comment below with your experiences and any kind of information that you can help either myself or other people with, then put it in the comments below. And also please consider subscribing if you are enjoying the channel in general, and then you, my friend, can be part of the exclusive and elusive 2Cat Media community. Till then, Happy New Year for 2021 for when it comes, and stay safe and drone on.